What's going on, peeps? It's Wrath here, hanging out today, playing some Idle Heroes. I want to thank you guys so much for coming out with me today. If you liked the video, don't forget, smash that thumbs up button to show your support. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe as well. Alright guys, this season is over by now. Everybody knows that. This is on the seasonal server. The seasonal's over. I just had to record these all at once because it's the very end. So they get sprinkled out like over the course of a week or two. So yes, this account is no longer active. I'm actually probably currently building a new seasonal account. Anyways, today we're going to continue our hero analysis, and today we're going to do Rosa. And I wasn't 100% sure how to do it, and I still don't know if I am. Because he's a support hero, and it's kind of hard to do like battles with a support hero, because you can't really showcase what they do very well. At least I can't think of an amazing way to do that. So we're going to take a look here at Rosa. Now mine is not max level. I couldn't scrap up all the spirit needed. It was rough. I couldn't do it. I tried. It didn't happen. So he's not 100% maxed. The tech for him is pretty much maxed. We'll show that real quick before we jump into it. Tech is important. Tech is probably one of the most important things. Pretty much maxed, just not maxed on speed. So that's a thing. All right, that's the thing. So we're going to go in here. We're going to look at the Hot Rosa action right there. And we're going to talk about his skills, his stats, what he's for, is he good, should you use him, etc., etc., etc. Go through the gearing guide, all that good jazz. But let's start things off with the skill. Active skill, Binding Vines. Ooh. I don't know. Deals 95% of his attack as damage against all enemies and reduces their attack by 15% for 3 rounds, with a 10% chance to tag them with a critical strike mark of 220% of attack as damage. Grants all allies 20% attack for 3 rounds. So as you can see, very supportive active skill. The damage he deals is incredibly low. His attack is incredibly low. He doesn't deal damage himself. He reduces enemy damage and boosts your team's damage. He's kind of like an inferior version of Emily, in my opinion. Emily's a little bit better than Rosa all around, but he is different in some ways. I built mine this season for a totally different reason. That rhymed. But he got nerfed, like dodge got destroyed, so my entire plan for Rosa was like, oh, let's find something new. Anyways, support skill. First passive here, increase HP by 40% and block by 35%. Previously, I was going to build this guy to be a dodge hero. So he'd dodge damage, it would kind of troll the enemy. It's kind of a useful way to use him. Well, they changed dodge to block, and now, block's not horrible. I've seen it used, obviously my Rosa uses it pretty well, but it's just not that powerful. I think it needs to be a higher damage reduction, personally, but, you know, whatevs. So he does get block if you want to build a Rosa. You can use a Rosa as your front line if you run high block on him with HP or reduce damage, something like that. Anyway, the second passive here, attack reduces all enemies' armor by 20% for 3 rounds. This is good in a majority of ways. Not a majority of ways, in a large amount of ways. Against bosses, if you strip armor, they take more damage. Now, obviously, heroes like Sigmund are much better at stripping armor than Rosa, which means he's not best in slot for armor removal. But having some is always nice. So armor movement isn't bad. It's not super god tier in PvP, really, because generally heroes with really high armor aren't your biggest threats. Your biggest threats are the ones that are going to nuke the living balls out of you with no armor. So not super great in PvP, but in PvE against bosses, it's not bad. Of course, it does help in PvP as well. It's just not as noticeable. Last thing here, when his HP drops below 50%, increases all allies reduced damage by 16% for 3 rounds. This was actually recently changed. It used to be a bump to your team's armor, but reduced damage is a far more powerful stat than armor is, so it actually is a little bit stronger. Again, this is the reason people used to run him in the front line. If he gets to 50% health, he can boost your entire team's resistance to damage, which can be very helpful. It's not like god tier, top tier amazing, but it's not bad either. So it's not like the best, but it's there. So we're going to go ahead and look into his gear. Mine is not maxed. I didn't invest a lot into his stone because once he got changed, I was kind of bummed with him. I was like, man, I don't know about this guy. But anyways, we'll talk about it anyway. The stone. My stone, I don't know what it even is right now. It's all HP. Okay, there's a couple different ways to run his stone. You can run a speed HP stone to get his attack out fast, to reduce armor quickly, to get his special skill out a little faster, to debuff the enemy and buff your team. It's a thing. You can do that. But like any PvP situation, if you're going to run him fast, you need to have a very fast crowd control unit that goes before him, because he's never going to outspeed a Demon Hunter. It ain't going to happen unless the Demon Hunter is geared like butthole. So if he gets crowd controlled, obviously he becomes useless. Generally, every hero does, well, not 100% useless, but pretty much. So that's kind of the idea. If you don't have a really fast crowd control unit, running speed and HP on your Rosa, probably not your best bet, because he's likely going to be stunned or frozen or silenced before he ever gets a chance to use it anyway. Right here, I'm running HP. This is to make him a little more tanky for the frontline slot when I was running him frontline. That means he has more health, he's not going to die as fast. It's kind of handy. For artifacts, again, if you're going to run him to get him out, get his skills out quick, an HP speed artifact isn't a bad idea for Rosa. Okay, it can happen. One more thing on the stone. You can run block on his stone, block and HP. I don't know how in love I am with block right now, but it's a possibility. I just wanted to put it out there in case block gets buffed in the future. It may be worth doing. Same thing for the artifact. There are block artifacts out there. The invisible cloak or whatever, I think, is one. That would buff his HP and also his block, I believe. So you can run him that way with a heavy block stat. I like reduced damage and HP. In fact, reduced damage is one of the few artifacts that goes on almost every hero in the game. You can put it on anything, pretty much. It's not going to be bad. The main exceptions are heroes that rely on speed, like Demon Hunter. You don't really need reduced damage on a Demon Hunter. You need it to be fast. So very few heroes don't benefit from it. But in the case, if you're running Rosa frontline, reduced damage is a must. There's almost no reason to go anything else, especially with the Oak Heart being an artifact you can put on him. It's going to boost his HP by 22%, plus reduced damage. That's great. It keeps him from dying quick, which is fantastic. The longer he stays alive, the better you are. So that's the main artifacts I would use. Speed HP if you want him to be quick and get his debuff out fast. If he's going to be your front line, reduce damage probably the best, but you can also do the block HP as well. So that's the initial analysis of the Rosa hero. And now I was kind of wondering how I want to test this guy, because there's not really a great way to do it, at least not in my mind. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to run 2 Broken Spaces battles, one with Rosa, one without Rosa, and we'll see how it affects other heroes' damage. The reason this isn't a super effective means of testing Rosa is because heroes' damage fluctuate greatly between battles anyway due to crit and stuff like that. Crowd control can play a big role in that. We're going to fight these guys here. They are Abyss. They do extra damage to Forest, but it doesn't really matter. These are the 200s. They're not going to do any damage. So we're going to jump in here. My first team here, as you can see, there is no Rosa. There's no Rosa at all. We're probably going to swap Valentino out and put Rosa in. Actually, it's probably not a good idea. It might be our only idea. We're going to have to, because Valentino does actually contribute to heroes' damage by causing them to hit one more time with their active skills. Whatever, we're not going to worry about it. We're going to jump in here, smash this guy one time. We'll just run through it real quick without Rosa, and then we'll watch the attacks of the one with Rosa and see how it turns out. All right? So, step 1, Kablowie. 77 million damage. That's actually a decent hit. That wasn't bad. Holy freaking balls. 20 million from Faithblade. Get wrecked. Get absolutely butt wrecked. 19 million, almost 20 million from Vesa. Strangely enough, Valentino almost broke 10 million. Now, he's also a Fortress hero. Okay, so he does do extra damage. And that's going to be my big thing is, if I drop him, I'm going to lose. I'm probably going to lose damage by putting Rosa in. But we're going to see how much. All right, that's the game plan, right? So 77 million, hit pretty freaking hard. Let's do it again. Knocked out quite a bit of that dude's health. Put this in there. And we're going to put Rosa in. All right, now Rosa's going to boost my team's attack, debuff the enemy's attack, which doesn't really matter, but also reduce their armor, which Sigmund's going to do pretty well by himself. But we're going to watch this one out. We're going to see how it goes and see if we can get some higher damage or not. That's the game plan. So, when it loads up, there we go. Let's jump in, see what we got. See what we got. I don't know how, I'm not really optimistic about it. That's the thing is, Valentino, I'm really actually surprised how much damage he does in PvE. Came words. I didn't think he would be very good at it. I thought he'd be more of a weak hero. Like, Valentino, maybe, probably not very much. But I was actually really impressed with the kind of damage numbers he dropped. Mine has a crit stone on right now, so I mean that might help his damage a little bit. But yeah, I wasn't expecting much in PvE from him, and he did really well even at 8-star. So next season, I still want to build a 10-star Valentino to get the analysis on him. I obviously couldn't do it this season, didn't get the copies. So we'll try it again probably next season. But I was pretty impressed with him. I think he did really well for an 8-star hero. And he has a lot of use in like the Tower of Oblivion. That extra crowd control chance that you get is actually a really big deal. I liked him a lot. So hopefully we can get that going next season. Things are winding down here, getting decently close to the end of the battle. Things are dropping pretty good numbers, it looks like. Scary's dropping millions without even critting, which is stupid. Oh my god, was that a 3.8 million damage for the Faith Blade? Good lord. Good lord. 81 million. I didn't see that coming. I thought we were going to go lower. Rosa only dropped about 3 million damage, but look what he did to Faith Blade's damage. From 20 million to 26 million. That could also be variances in crit and stuff like that. Vesa, 22 million, so she went up as well. That actually showcased it pretty well. I wasn't expecting such a drastic change, but there you go. And of course, that could be, like I said, crits and stuff like that, change between battles. But either way, you get the idea. He reduces armor, he buffs your team's attack, and that is also going to obviously boost their damage output against bosses. So Rosa does have a place. He's not like completely broken and useless. I would just say he's not god tier. He's not like, you got to build a Rosa if you go in Forest. Not really. He's pretty good. I like him. I think he does work pretty well for what he does. And he's decently versatile. You know, you can run him as a tank. You can run him just as support. He's all right. So there's the battle. I'm not going to do a bunch with him. I mean, it's kind of hard to, you know, as support heroes are kind of hard to showcase, in my opinion. They're not the easiest. That is the wrong button. I meant the X. So there is Rosa. Quick recap. He's not a god really anywhere. But he's not. He really sucks in the Aspen. All right? Never take a Rosa into the Aspen dungeon. He does nothing but die. So yeah, that's a no-go. But he's not bad. When it comes to things like the PvP area, he's not horrible. He has some passives that do help. Stripping armor. When he falls below half health, boosting your team's reduced damage. That can kind of help your team survive a little bit. Are there better supports for PvP? Yes, I would say Emily for PvP every time over Rosa. She's a freak. I've never built one, but I mean, I've seen people that build her. She's nasty. She does damage. Well, she didn't really do damage, but she boosts your damage, and she's pretty good at it. So, Arena, I mean, he can be used there. He's pretty versatile. You know, front slot, just put him in the back. Whatever you want to use him for. I like heroes that can do that. A hero you can put to bounce around between places in your team is kind of handy, especially if you ever change your team up or changes get made to certain heroes you're using. Having a hero that can move around is pretty nice. So definitely decent there. He's not bad at all in the boss damage, as you saw. He does help boost your team's damage output, which is pretty nice. Tower of Oblivion, same story. The reduced damage can be good. Does not work at all on the light hero nodes. Watch out for that. They have holy damage. Holy damage says, screw your reduced damage, we're killing you anyway. So on those nodes, he does nothing, but most time he's not super bad. I like him. Brave Trial, I don't know. He's not like a gotta have him, but he's not bad there either. He doesn't do a lot of damage, but he's a support. That's his job. He's a support hero. I can't say that I would recommend you build one, especially now that dodge got nerfed. But he's not bad. If you've got one, I don't think he's like, oh, you gotta trash him now. He definitely still has use. He's not a bad hero. He can boost your boss damage. That's Rosa. He's not God, but he's not butthole either. He's somewhere in the middle. So there you go, guys. That's the Rosa analysis. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you liked the video, please make sure to smash that thumbs up button to show your support. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe as well. And tell your friends about it, because that definitely helps me out a lot. And I will see you guys in the next one.